there and welcome to this video, as well as the start of a new series on this channel, which I am going to be calling Road to ER100. You see, currently, in order to make it to the top 100 spot in Europe for 2x2 average, you would need a 1.55 average of 5. And currently, my PR average is 2.21, which puts me 442nd in Europe. And so I thought this was a good idea for a series where I basically just try to improve at 2x2 with the goal to get ER100. Now, I don't really know how long this will take. It might take a week, it might take a month, it might be a year, 2 years. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out. And now in episode 1, I'm going to relearn all of my algorithms. You see, I currently know CLL, EG1, and anti-Cll, but the problem is that pretty much all of the algorithms that I currently use come from jperm.net, which means that pretty much half of my algorithms are not optimal. So in today's video, my goal will be to learn better algorithms for the cases where my current algs aren't optimal. Alright, so I just finished off setting up all my algs on jperm.net for CLL, and so I'll see you tomorrow to learn them. Alright, now today is tomorrow, so I'm just going to drill in all of these new CLL algs, and hopefully by the end of the day I will have relearned all of the 16 cases that I have set out to relearn for my CLLs. Alright, I have just drilled in both of my new Soon algs, and now I'm gonna take a break for a little bit, and then I'm going to learn the anti-Soons as well. I have learned all of the anti-Clls now as well, hopefully. So I'll come back and learn another alg set soon. Now I decided to finish off learning all of my new CLLs off camera, just so that the whole video doesn't only become time lapses. But basically, what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to do an average of 100 with my new CLLs to see how much I've improved from before. So before I learned these new CLLs, my average of 100 was 2.65, and then I'm going to do an average of 100 now, and then an average of 100 when I've relearned all of my EG1s as well, so that I can see what improvements I've actually made. I got the exact same average as I started out with without knowing these algorithms. Alright, so not really as good as I thought, but it is kind of to be expected, considering that usually when I learn new alg sets, it takes some time for me to get used to them, to actually get good. at them. So hopefully this doesn't mean that I did this all for nothing, but rather it means that I'll get better over time when I've gotten used to these new algs, you know. Alright, so I have now selected all of the EG1 cases that I need to learn, and I will get back to you when I've learned them and I'm doing the average of 100. Alright, 256. Alright, so as you saw from that 1 millionth time lapse during this video, I got a 2.56 average in the end, which means it went down by 0.1 seconds for my average of 100. And I just really wanted to clear some things up as an end for this video. So, I believe this would not really be helping me that much directly, but rather in the long term. So even though I've only gone down by 0.1 seconds in my average of 100 from learning about 40 algorithms, I still believe it was worth it. Mainly just because I think it will make it way easier for me to improve later in the series. When you first learn new algorithms, you will not usually see a really big improvement. Like, for example, the actual difference between doing 2-look and 1-look OLL isn't actually that big when you immediately learn it. But when you start to get better at 3x3, that change becomes crucial. And that isn't because it suddenly became a lot faster, but rather because that's what you base your solve around. Now I also want to talk a bit about me actually learning suboptimal algorithms from the beginning. Because am I a bit pissed that I did that? Yes. But I also believe that as I get better at 2x2, it might actually become beneficial for me to have some alternative algs that I know. I mean, at the highest level of 2x2 solving, cancelling is a really big deal for how good your solutions are. So the more alternative algs you know, the better. So would I advise someone who is just starting to learn EG to learn suboptimal algs? No. But I just believe that it wasn't too bad for me. But no... But now if you know that you have learned some suboptimal algorithms, I would strongly advise you that you find the optimal ones and train those ones, because it is better to do it now than later, considering it will just make it easier to improve for you. But with that being said, I think I'm going to end off the video. If you've got any ideas on what you want my next video, want to see in my next video in this series, please write that down in the comments. And if you like this series and want to see more of it, I would strongly advise you to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss it. But now, without further ado, bye.